Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Grim Reaper bringing you One Punch Man 157 review. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe, and let's hop into it. First topic I want to discuss is Garou versus Sage Centipede. Now we also got the the Viz translation for what Sage Centipede's name's going to be, and I won't utter it here. I won't dare to utter it here. Another botched name translation. But regardless of the case, let's get it popping. I immediately disliked the instance where we see Garou start beating on Sage Centipede, and he says, "Oh, so strong," in regards to the strength that Garou's pummeling in his face with. All kinds of individuals have commented in the comment section and have mentioned that this is awakened Garou, or this is platinum Garou, super alloy Garou. I haven't used those words, but it's still in the same term. They're trying to reference a Garou that's evolved and just finished fighting platinum. That should be very, very powerful in their personal opinions, and they're saying that it's okay that Sage Centipede is feeling the pain. I disagree, only because of the second point here that I want to put a strong emphasis on. In the first appearance of a great centipede that we got for Elder Centipede, and I'm not saying that they have to be equivalent. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But the story has made it very clear that Sage Centipede is the superior, the stronger version, the much more gargantuan version of the centipedes that we've seen in the series. But before, in Elder Centipede's first appearance, the difference in power, or the difference in durability in regard to the combatants that he encountered, was just so great that it made Elder Centipede look that much more impressive. Now, we could also say that coupled with the amazing art that Murata put in to drawing for every single chapter that Elder Centipede showed in, you could say that also added to the aspect of the greatness of Elder Centipede. But we got some great shots for Sage Centipede so far as well. That's why I find it intolerable that Garou is so easily just beating down on, and especially the main aspect, the main target of Sage Centipede, his face, his weak point, quote unquote, just beating down on him like that. I'd like to see some more defensive capabilities from Sage Centipede, something more impressive than just like noticing helicopters with his like tentacles and stuff. That being said, he did show instant regeneration, and I don't know if we're gonna be seeing him get stronger, right? In Elder Centipede's variant, whenever you did significant enough damage, or what happened to be the case is that whenever Bang and Bomb did significant enough damage with the Sky or a Fist, they ended up enhancing or progressing his molting process that he was already going through in regards to what Murata said, according to Murata. So it's not necessarily that he got stronger because they beat him or because they pushed him to a certain limit. He was already going to be stronger regardless. So are we going to be seeing that for Sage Centipede as well? Are we going to be seeing an evolving Sage Centipede? Are we going to be seeing are the instant regenerations going to eventually pile up? Remember with Elder Centipede, like he kept popping out with new faces, or like he'd have a whole other head pop out of the mouth of the previous one or whatever. So is that going to be the case? If Garou beats Sage Centipede enough, are we going to start to see that? Whatever the case is, I think, to me, in my personal opinion, Sage Centipede's stock went down because of that, because he hasn't been as dominating as I expected him to be on his first appearance there. Even Natural Water, it's a whole different story. Even Natural Water came through with the Grand Ocean Cannon there. Ooh. And it did it fast. Murata wasn't like wasting any time. I kind of didn't like that. I kind of wanted there to be more of a emphasis on it. At this point, there's so many crazy things going on that like I don't even have the right to I don't even have the right to give like accurate predictions or assumptions of what should be or what I like or shouldn't like, because this is like the first instance where we're seeing this, where I'm experiencing this level, or this author like one of his capability, with his ability to switch up storylines and switch up tropes and flip floppity them and do it backwards and do it forwards, and then like hit the angles from different sides and like pretend like he's gonna do it but not do it. All different kinds of tricks that one has. I've never experienced it to this degree in a technically war art, a strong war arc, a long ass war arc. We've been here for like 2-3 years, I think, low key. Like, I've never experienced it like that, so I can't say like, oh, I want this fight to be longer or it should have been shorter or whatever. Everything's been pretty good so far. Even in the redraws, there are complaints for sure, but everything's been pretty good so far. So I'm not sure if even natural water should have gotten more. You know, would it have been beneficial for us to see more of even natural water, more oh grand ocean cannon, or a super nuclear grand ocean cannon? Would it have been crazy or beneficial for us to see that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. The whole point is that it seems like things are progressing quicker than what I would personally like. And we first see that in the biggest claim with Garou's power increase, Platinum's defeat, and now here, this Sage Centipede thing. And again, once again, with Even Natural Water being taken out of the storyline immediately by Saitama. An immediate response. I mean, a single Grand Ocean Cannon. Sage threatened him, and then Even Natural Ocean just hit him with it. Like, I told you, damn! He was being dead ass serious, and then we just seen it, and it was catastrophic, bro. Like, and you have to take a second. If you have to really take a second to get a grasp of the true scale of this powerful cannon. Like this shadow that you see it cast on the earth as it's going to hit the target, as it's going to hit to where a Garou is or whatever. That's probably like a whole like 2-3 miles long, bit. There were multiple buildings there, multiple city blocks were engulfed underneath that shadow just from the cannon like that, bro. Like that's a huge cannon. It definitely probably dwarfs. I would say it probably dwarfs the Millennium Emperor Nova that was redrawn or taken out of the storyline. I don't want to say it dwarfs, but it probably matches Orochi's first Prime Orochi whenever he was in the humanoid form. The first fight they had at the time in 108. That also got redrawn and taken out of the story. It probably matches that. I think it's superior to the current version of Orochi, the little Gaiga thing that he pulled up from the core of the earth. I think it's superior to that or comparable. And that's why I think his stock, even natural water stock, goes up in this chapter. And, oh boy, I forgot his name. I'm going to shout you out, though. I'm gonna, you're finna get the shout out eventually, but I got you, Bo. But, somebody requested that we update the tier list at the end of every single video, or excuse me, at the end of every single chapter, so that we can keep it like a constant running format. And we're gonna be doing that exactly at the end of this video. So that's why I feel that even natural water stock goes up, because of the performance of the Grand Ocean Cannon and the response that was required from it. A blitz from Saitama, something that we don't see that often. I had the whole discussion in Discord as to how many times does Saitama actually proactively go after some of these monsters. Because a lot of times he's just there. He goes to the situation to save a hero or to intervene or save somebody, and then the monster ends up attacking him. But it's not so often where Saitama just goes in and attacks the monster. Even with in situations like Mosquito Girl, where Mosquito Girl was Saitama and Genos were already there talking, and then they got attacked by Mosquito Girl. Then Genos gets into a perilous situation, and Saitama intervenes. That could be considered because Saitama intervened, but it's not exactly the same as like Evil Natural Ocean attacking Garou, and then Saitama seeing the Grand Ocean Cannon and saying, "Oh yeah, you can't do that no more." Blitz, one shot. It's not the same. Even Boros, he blitzed Boros, but it's because he was monologuing or whatever. So it's ambiguous to like the threat that even Natural Ocean would really pose in regards to Saitama, like, because it's not the same thing. Remember, a Boros has the capability to do the exact same thing even Natural Water did, but he's a humanoid and he fights differently. So it's interesting to see the different responses that Saitama has for these different monsters, because yeah, there's like the Mantis monster that came up from the House of Revolution. Also, Saitama actually proactively attacked him too. So there are different instances. Garou boss also got blitzed technically in this occasion. So we'll see. The reveal of Saitama's capabilities. It was addressed immediately in the chapter that Sage Centipede didn't see what happened. He said, like, is that some sort of a geothermal cataclysm or something like that? Like, he didn't understand exactly what it was. So, Saitama's shrouded, or his secret is still protected in regards to Sage. But we know that Sage is the minimalist, and right now, in my opinion, is questionably how involved even natural water is with God. But with Sage, you would think that by him being endowed or involved with or a servant of God, that God may have the ability to, see what he sees or be as informed as his disciple is in real time. Whether that's the case or not, because we did see him interfere with Homeless immediately as he was speaking to the zombie man. Whether that's the case or not, I'm wondering if God's seen this, right? Because we have the moon that's been everlastingly and constantly in the background of this entire arc greatly. Now we're giving even more context to it because we saw God on the moon in regards to Holmes' perspective. And we've been seeing it peculiarly, really prominently in certain panels that you've been like, oh, maybe that's not for artistic aesthetic. Maybe that's there for a reason. Maybe I should be looking at the moon or paying attention to the moon. So I'm wondering if God really knows about Saitama or not. Metal Bat's potential. All right, so Metal Bat didn't really get a chance to do that much. We saw Garou outspeed him, or yeah, outspeed him whenever he first attacked him, or whenever they first encountered. So, it's pretty much what happened in their first encounter, and I almost feel like that's Murata Murata and one summing up what would actually happen if they actually fought. It would be the same thing that like Garou would like overwhelm him with speed or whatever, and that Metal Bat would just keep swinging, keep getting stronger or whatever. But you know what happened at the end. So whether that would be the case or not, Metal Bat is gonna get a chance to actually display more capabilities. The objective that he and Garou now share is to protect this helicopter, to protect the guys that are leaving from the reinforcements in the rescue team. So Tadio being in Garou's principal, I guess, mindset, is it appropriate to ask if Garou the hero is now a plausible storyline? We're talking about Metal Bat, and this is a thing that can be discussed or speculated upon in regards to translation. But we're talking about Metal Bat multiple times, pointing out that Garou is a monster. Then we have, has turned into a monster. Then we have Platinum in previous, very, very close, like almost excessive, previous chapters, claiming that Garou's a half monster, and he can't even decide to help the monsters. He's not even all the way there. He's faking it. All different kinds of viewpoints of Garou's monstrosity. Even Suryu said that this guy's not really that intimidating, or he didn't feel that much murderous intent coming from Garou's appearance on the screen. So, what is really going on here? Is Garou really a monster? The question becomes, when Saitama encounters Garou, if he's a monster, he can kill him. If he's a human, I don't think it'll happen. And if we get an instance of what we had just now, Garou the hero, how would that turn out? The anti-hero? Are we going to start getting our first anti-heroes in this series? Flash, he's sort of an anti-hero, but it somewhat revolves around those who try to assassinate him. So it's not the same thing as like him being jumped or him just going out trying to assassinate random groups. They're trying to come in to kill him as well. But there aren't that many other heroes that are like that shrouded in darkness, like Drive Knight, that would even allude to anything negative. Drive Knight claims that Meta Knight's evil, but we don't have any evidence of that. So, how likely is it for us to get Garou, the hero, continued surviving in One Punch Man after this arc? I don't know. It's funny thing to point out that it looks like Garou is going to be blamed for the destruction of, or the majority of the destruction of what's happening in Z City. I don't know if they're going to attribute all the events or all the like peculiar phenomenon that's been going on to him. If they do, then it seems like that's what's going to be giving him the God threat. That's going to be disappointing because we're kind of keeping this God threat thing sacred to like the strongest possible opposition or threat that can be posed, right? And now we're seeing the guy named God start to present a threat. And it's powerful. Sairochi is a spawn of him, an earth cutter. Shit. But is it the end all be all? Does God actually deserve the moniker or the title or the disaster level of God? If that's the case, then has Garou really reached that same pinnacle? Garou isn't earth cutter worthy. He hasn't posed that kind of threat. So if he gets the God threat because of what he's done to Z City, because of misinterpretation, is it really deserved? Or is this part of one, like, once again, playing with and humiliating and really rubbing in our faces the fact that the disaster levels mean absolutely nothing? We'll see. Now let's head to the tier list so that we can really talk about our opinions in regards to what happened in this chapter. A lot of individuals didn't necessarily like my tier list, and a lot of individuals didn't necessarily like the chapter as well. There were mixed opinions in regards to everything, but there are a lot of meatheads out here that are just here for power-ups and are just here for fighting and stuff like that. That's not what we are doing here. That's not what we're doing here at all. So, we're going to be updating the tier list in regards to my personal opinion. So remember that. This is my official list, the running list here. It's a good reference. I do rereads often, and I'm doing a reread right now. You're following the channel because we both have a similar understanding and comprehension of the chapter. So our tier lists are not necessarily going to be the same, but they should have a common theme to them in regards to the power scaling. Not only for reading the story correctly, but because we're in the same community with each other. So bear with me and let's ride together in this tier list from now on. So the first change that I wanted to add and I confirm is a stock boost for Even Natural Ocean. And I think it's deserved if we get a 2-tier increase from tier 12 to tier 11. I think, like I said before, and we were talking earlier, that he's now somewhat comparable to the attacks that Orochi did in both the in the redraw version and in the current version. So that's why I think he deserves to be pushed up. The ship's assault on A City was spectacular. I think a Grand Cannon or two could do the same thing. He could definitely pose a threat to the entirety of a city with a Grand Cannon. It's we're talking countries here. We're talking countries here. So he's up there, and I think, yeah, he's definitely been more impressive than Sage Centipede has. The next person that deserves or has to be addressed here is Sage Centipede himself. I personally believe he's going to receive a stock drop because of the whole Garou thing. I don't believe that Garou should have enough power to damage somebody who should have as much defensive capabilities as what I'm expecting from Sage Centipede. These are all expectations, sure, and he has instant regeneration. Sure. I'm not saying his position is changing in the tier list. I'm saying that for me right now, his stock is dropping. And the stock is different from the positioning on the tier list. We obviously, our stock drops, or the stock value is dependent on what we all think, not just my tier list, what we all think. So if there are more people who are believing that it's a stock jump, then it's a stock jump, bitch. It's a stock jump. I'll allow it, bitch. Or it's whatever, bitch. It's whatever. Garou stock bump. No change. Garou gets a stock bump because of how strong he's being displaying. Like he's now up there. Like, yeah, yeah. Like he's sitting there hurting and beating on a centipede, bro. Like, we know the centipedes to be incredibly durable. That's simply put. The next individual who, personally, on the rereads and more context, Psychos or Giro, whichever it was, they're gonna get a stock boost. Not necessarily a tier list, but they're not gonna get a position change. Is Psychos or Giro for being able to capture even natural water in the first place. We don't know how it happened. We don't know how he got in the container, but he was in a fish container. I don't know. However you did that, crazy. Because we can't do it. You need a Cape Baldy. And then Malabat's also gonna get a stock bump, and he's gonna get pushed up 2 tiers. He's showing out up against an above dragon threat. Once again, we're not gonna be doing any pretending as if it's not impressive, or as if Sage Centipede doesn't have strength. Like, Sage Centipede is an above dragon threat. There's no if, ands, or anything about that. Yes, his dragon thrashing didn't do that much to him, but we know how Metalbat works. All he did was get headbutted. He got sent back. He's gonna keep going to keep getting more pumped, and actually start dealing damage to the centipede. And for all intents and purposes, it does look like he should be able to take on Sage Centipede. I don't know how effective it will be, but he would definitely give a prolonged, sustained threat. That's why I think it's fair to move up Metalbat 2 tiers into the same tier as Pooty and a Mind Mask for this current presentation. His potential is great in regards to what could happen next in the next few chapters. He could really, on his own, with the help of Garou, but they could really together show out and take on Sage Centipede and really bring him down. Maybe that'll be the testament that actually helps me change my opinion towards Sage Centipede. The fact that you needed Metal Bat and Garou to break through his carapace and to really beat him down. If that's the case, I'm here for it. But let's go ahead and do that. The other person who's going to get a stock boost is Saitama for this crazy, the Moses punch, bro. Say, hey, killer move. Serious Moses. Bing! Bro, just split the sea in two. Just, yeah. Spectacular sight. Amazing drawing. We got to see Sage Centipede at the end of it, too. It was spectacular panels this chapter. I personally enjoyed this chapter. Let me know what you thought about the chapter. Let me know what your opinions are about the topics that we talked about. Let me know what your opinions are about the tier list. We're gonna, like I said, every single chapter we're gonna be updating it and changing a bunch of different individuals. If you have connections or if you have reasons as to why somebody should be changed on this tier list, it's gonna be the channel's tier list or whatever. Write it in the comment section. We'll discuss it after every single topic, or excuse me, after every single chapter. We'll discuss it. We'll make arrangements and changes for every character, every tier, every positioning for whatever reason that we need to. We'll make it as accurate as possible and a running list. See y'all boys next time, man. Yo ho ho!